Hello, my friend. Sit back, take a deep breath in, and let it out slowly. This is your time, a few minutes just for you. I want to tell you a story. It is a simple story about a man who felt just like you might feel today. Maybe a little stuck, maybe a little tired, maybe just looking for a small light to show the way. His name was Leo, and his story is about learning to walk again, even when his legs felt weak. Not with his legs, but with his life. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Man Who Forgot How to Dream. Leo was not a young man. He was 43 years old. He had a job he did not love. He woke up at the same time every day, ate the same breakfast, walked the same path to the bus stop, and sat at the same small desk. His work was not bad. His boss was not mean. His life was not sad. But it was not bright. It was like a room with a lamp that worked, but the light was very, very low. You could see the furniture. You could find your way, but you could not read a book. You could not see colors. You could not feel the warmth of the sun. Leo felt that way inside. At night, he would sit on his small sofa and watch TV. He did not really watch it. He just let the noise fill the room. He felt too tired to do anything else. One evening, his niece came to visit. Her name was Mira. She was 10 years old. She sat next to him on the sofa. She looked at him with big, curious eyes. "Uncle Leo," she said, "what is your dream?" Leo looked at her. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. He thought hard. A dream from long ago. He remembered when he was a boy he wanted to build things, big things, bridges and buildings. He wanted to travel to other countries. He wanted to learn new languages. But life happened. He got a job. He paid bills. He got busy. And slowly the dreams became quiet. Then they became silent. Mira waited for his answer. Finally, Leo smiled a small, sad smile. "I think," he said slowly, "I forgot my dream, little one." Mira looked at him with love. "That's okay," she said. "Maybe you just need to remember." That night, after Mira went to sleep, Leo could not sleep. He looked at the ceiling. Maybe you just need to remember. Those words sat in his heart like a small, warm seed. Chapter 2. The first step is always the hardest. The next morning, Leo woke up, but this time, he did not get up right away. He lay in bed and asked himself a question. A real question. If I could change one thing, what would it be? He waited for an answer, and a small voice inside him said, very quietly, I want to feel strong again. Not strong like lifting heavy things. Strong inside. Strong in his mind. He remembered something else from when he was young. He remembered wanting to speak English. He thought English sounded beautiful. He thought people who spoke other languages seemed like they had a secret key to a bigger world. But learning was hard. It took time. It took patience. And Leo felt he had no time. He felt too old to start. That day at work he could not focus. He kept thinking about Mira's question. On his way home, he walked past a small library. He had not been inside a library for years. He stopped. He looked at the door. His heart beat faster. His mind said, go home. You're too tired. It's too late. But his feet did not listen. He pushed the door open. Inside, it was quiet and calm. An old librarian with kind eyes looked up and smiled. "Can I help you?" she asked. Leo felt shy. His voice was low. "I want to learn English, to speak better. Where do I start?" The librarian smiled warmly. She did not laugh. She did not look surprised. She stood up and walked to a shelf. She took down a small, thin book. "This is a good place," she said. "It is for beginners. Every long journey starts with one small step." Leo took the book. It felt light in his hands, but it also felt important. That night, he opened the book. The first page had simple words. Pat, son, run. He felt a little silly. He was 43 years old looking at words a child could read, but he remembered the librarian's words. Asterisk one small step. Asterisk. He read the page. Then he read it again. He said the words out loud, very quietly, so no one would hear. Pat, pat, sun, mun. It was not much, but for Leo it was everything. It was the first step. Chapter 3, The Habit of One Page. The next day, Leo almost did not open the book. He came home tired. His back hurt. His head was full of numbers and emails. He sat on the sofa. He looked at the TV. The TV looked back at him, waiting to turn on and fill the silence with noise. Then he looked at the small table next to the sofa. The thin English book was there. He remembered a rule he had heard long ago, a rule about habits. Asterisk, do not try to do too much. Just do a little, but do it every day. Asterisk. He took a deep breath. Okay, he said to himself. Just one page today. Then I can watch TV. He opened the book. He read one page. It took 2 minutes. Then he closed the book. He turned on the TV, but something felt different. He felt a tiny, warm feeling inside. It was the feeling of keeping a promise to himself. The next day, he did the same thing. 1 page. The day after that, he read 2 pages, because he wanted to. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into a month. Leo did not become a master of English, but he became the man who reads 1 page every day. And that small change started to change everything. He felt a little more proud, a little more in control. He was not just a man going to a job he did not love. He was a man who was learning, a man who was growing. Chapter 4, The Mirror and the Voice. One Saturday morning, Leo was alone. He looked at himself in the bathroom mirror. His hair was a little gray. His eyes looked tired, but he also saw something else. He saw a student. He looked at his own reflection and spoke. In English. Hello, he said. My name is Leo. I am learning English. His voice sounded strange to him. His accent was thick. His words were slow. He felt embarrassed even though no one was there. His mind said, asterisk, you sound silly. Stop. Asterisk. But another voice, a quieter voice, said, asterisk, keep going. This is how we learn. Asterisk. He remembered something the librarian told him last week. He had gone back to thank her, and she gave him another tip. Mistakes are your friends, she had said. Every time you make a mistake, you learn something new. Be afraid of silence, not of mistakes. So Leo looked in the mirror, and he made mistakes. He said words wrong. He mixed up sentences. He forgot simple words. But he kept going. He talked about his day. He talked about the weather. He talked about what he wanted to eat. It felt like playing, like a child learning to ride a bike, falling down and getting back up. And slowly his voice became a little stronger. His words became a little clearer. He was building confidence, not ego, not pride, just a quiet belief that he could do this. Chapter 5, The Gift of Time. A big problem for Leo was time. He always felt he had no time. Work took time, sleep took time, eating, showering, going to the bus, all of it took time. How could he learn anything new? One night he was waiting for the bus. The bus was late. He felt annoyed. Then he remembered the small book in his bag. Instead of being angry about the late bus, he took out the book. He read for 10 minutes. When the bus came, he felt thankful, not angry. The late bus had given him time to learn. That was a big discovery for Leo. He started to see time differently. He stopped looking for asterisk big blocks asterisk of time. He started using the asterisk small pockets asterisk of time. 5 minutes waiting for coffee. Read a page. 15 minutes on the bus. Listen to simple English words on his phone. 10 minutes before sleep. Write 1 sentence in a notebook. He stopped saying, I don't have time. He started asking, how can I use this small time? This changed everything. He was not a busy man anymore. He was a man who used his time wisely. Chapter 6, The Mountain and the Small Stone. Months passed. Leo's English was getting better. He could read simple stories. He could understand simple conversations, but then he hit a wall. He tried to read something harder, a news article. The words were too big, the sentences were too long. He could not understand. He felt like a failure. He sat at his small table and put his head in his hands. "This is too hard," he whispered. "I am too old. I will never learn." He felt like giving up. He felt like throwing the books away. That weekend, Mira came to visit again. She found him sitting quietly, looking sad. "Uncle Leo, what's wrong?" she asked. Leo tried to explain. He told her about the wall, about feeling stupid, about wanting to stop. Mira listened. Then she took his hand. "Come outside with me," she said. They walked to a small park near his home. In the park, there was a big hill. At the top of the hill, there was a huge, gray rock. Mira pointed to the rock. Then she bent down and picked up a tiny stone. "See this?" she said. "This small stone cannot move the big rock. But if you take one small stone away every day, one day, the big rock will be gone. Or maybe you will find a way to go around it." Leo looked at the small stone in her hand. He understood. The big rock was his problem. The small stones were his daily practice. One page, one word, one sentence. Alone, they seemed weak, but together, over time, they could move mountains. He smiled and hugged his niece. "You are very wise," he said. "I know," she said and laughed. Chapter 7: The Honest Man. Another important lesson came to Leo in a different way. At his job, there was a small problem. Leo made a mistake with some numbers. It was a small mistake. No one would know if he just fixed it quietly. But Leo thought about something. He thought about the man he wanted to become. He wanted to be a man who learns English. But more than that, he wanted to be a man of integrity, a man who is honest even when no one is watching. So he went to his boss. He explained the mistake. He did not make excuses. His boss looked at the paper. Then he looked at Leo. "Thank you for telling me," his boss said. "This is a small mistake. We can fix it. But your honesty, that is a big thing. I trust you more now." Leo walked back to his desk. His heart felt light. He learned that day that confidence does not come from being perfect. It comes from being real, from being honest, from owning your mistakes and learning from them. This lesson helped him with English too. When he did not know a word, he said, "I don't know. Can you help me?" People were always kind. They respected his honesty. Chapter 8: The Garden. One spring morning, Leo looked out his window. He saw a small patch of dirt outside his building. It was just empty land. Nothing grew there. He had an idea. He went to the store and bought some seeds. Simple seeds, flowers and vegetables. Every day, after work, he spent 15 minutes in that small patch of dirt. He pulled out weeds. He broke up the hard soil. He planted the seeds. He watered them. At first, nothing happened, just dirt. People walked by. Some looked at him strangely. Some smiled. Day after day, Leo worked. The sun was hot sometimes. His hands got dirty. His back hurt, but he kept going. Then, one morning, he saw something small and green, a tiny plant pushing through the soil. He felt so happy, so proud. Soon, more plants came, then flowers, then small vegetables. The empty patch of dirt became a small, beautiful garden. People stopped to look. They smiled. Some said, "Thank you, Leo. This is beautiful." Leo stood back and looked at the garden. It was not perfect. Some plants were small, some flowers were different colors. But it was growing, because he showed up every day. Because he was patient, because he did not give up. He realized learning English was just like this garden, and his life was just like this garden. You plant small seeds, you water them every day, you wait, you trust the process, and slowly, slowly, things grow. Chapter 9: The Speech. One day, the librarian asked Leo for a favor. "Leo," she said, "you have worked so hard. Would you like to tell your story, just for a small group, to help others who are starting?" Leo's heart almost stopped. Speak in front of people, in English. He wanted to say no. His old voice said, run away, hide dot asterisk. But his new voice, the voice he had been building for months, said, this is a chance to grow dot asterisk. He said yes. For 2 weeks he prepared. He wrote a simple speech, very simple words. He practiced in front of the mirror. He practiced with Mira. He made mistakes. He corrected them. He practiced again. The night came. The room was small. 20 people sat in chairs. Some were older. Some were young. They all looked at him. Leo stood at the front. His hands were shaking. His mouth was dry. He looked at the faces. He saw Mira in the back, smiling. He saw the librarian, nodding gently. He took a deep breath. Hello, he said. His voice was quiet but clear. My name is Leo. I am learning English. He paused. I started 1 year ago. I was scared. I felt old. I felt stupid. Some people in the audience nodded. They understood. But I learned something, Leo continued. You do not need to be fast. You just need to keep going. He talked about 1 page every day. He talked about the mirror. He talked about the garden. He talked about the small stone and the big rock. He spoke for 10 minutes. He made small mistakes, but he did not stop. When he finished, the room was quiet for a second. Then they clapped. They stood up and clapped. Leo felt tears in his eyes, not because he was perfect, but because he was brave. Chapter 10. The Man Who Remembered. After the speech, people came to talk to him. An old man held his hand and said, You gave me hope. A young woman said, I want to learn too. Can you help me? A boy, maybe 12 years old, said, I'm also learning. Thank you for not giving up. Leo went home that night and sat on his sofa. The TV was off. He looked around his small home. He saw the English books. He saw the notebook with his sentences. He saw a small flower from his garden on the table. He thought about the man he was 1 year ago. That man was tired. That man had forgotten how to dream. Now he was not perfect. His life was not a fairy tale. He still had a job he did not love. He still had hard days. But something inside him had changed. He had remembered how to grow. He had learned that discipline is not punishment. It is love for your future self. He had learned that confidence comes from keeping small promises. He had learned that time is not the enemy. It is the garden where we plant our dreams. He had learned that honesty makes you strong, and he had learned that you are never too old, never too tired, and never too far gone to start again. He looked out the window at the night sky. The stars were tiny points of light, small but bright, just like his steps, just like his words, just like his life. The ending. So, my friend, this is where Leo's story pauses. But your story is still being written. Maybe you are like Leo. Maybe you feel stuck. Maybe you feel tired. Maybe you want to learn, but you feel too old or too slow. Listen to me closely. You are not too old. You are not too late. You are not too weak. You just need to start. Take one small step today. Read 1 page. Write 1 sentence. Say 1 word out loud. Make mistakes. That is how you learn. Be patient. That is how you grow. Be honest. That is how you build trust with others and with yourself. And never, ever give up, even when progress feels slow. The small stones move the big rock. The small seeds become the garden. You can do this. I believe in you. Thank you for listening to this story with your heart. If this story helped you today, if it gave you a little hope or a little warmth, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. You can like this video. It helps the channel grow, so we can share more stories like this. And if you want to keep learning, keep growing, and keep believing in yourself, please subscribe. Just click the button. It is a small step, but small steps change lives. Take care of yourself, my friend. Be kind to yourself. And I will see you in the next story. Until then, keep going. 1 page, 1 word, 1 day at a time.